Anyone who is drinking coffee and tea empty stomach, please stop.
Is pickleball just a Delhi Bombay fad?
I had bronchitis when I was in class 7th and 8th. That's when I really understood the importance of nutrition. Don't make your life too complicated when you're talking about diet.
One bowl of dal and then they're done for the day with their protein intake.
PFOAs in the coating of those pans are chipping off. They might get into your food, which is not great for your health. It can be toxic.
Hello and welcome to BergCast, a podcast about food and meaningful conversations about nutrition and health. I'm Ishita, a consultant nutritionist and your host. Today we have with us Digvijay Singh, known influencer, recipe wizard, and trainer. Digvijay, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Shata. Pleasure is all mine. Thanks for the elaborate and amazing introduction. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Digvijay, so curious to know, right? We love your reels. We love all the recipes. Who is Digvijay outside these reels?
I think the Digvijay outside these reels, just more than 90 seconds, what's happening in those reels. That is just a part of my lifestyle. How I see fitness and nutrition is that it's a part of my life. But apart from that, I play sports, I hang out with friends, and obviously I try to live my life every day, one by one. But I love what I do, and I spend a lot of time, getting into making recipes and talking about fitness, nutrition, training people. And yeah, that's what I do apart from this.
And how did you get into fitness and training?
I mean, it was it started in childhood. My dad was in the army. So I've been always inclined towards seeing people into fitness and sports. Then I got inspired and started playing a lot of sports, got into nutrition. I had bronchitis when I was in class 7th and 8th. I was in Delhi. That's when I really understood the importance of nutrition. And my dad used to do yoga. Then I started pranayam. I started eating good foods. I eliminated a lot of junk food and other irritable items from my diet. And that's when I understood, okay, if you eat something which is very nutritious and which is nourishing, would actually have a big impact on your health.
Yeah.
So that's when I got inclined towards fitness and nutrition.
Very, very true. Moving forward, trying to understand the recipes kahan se aate hain?
I think it comes from the curiosity ki, can I make this healthy? I don't know, this is the story that I tell myself ki I'm also eating some junk food, just understand how it tastes. But deep down, I know that I also enjoy a croissant, a ghevar, or maybe something fried once in a while. But how can I achieve the same texture, the flavor in my food is something that makes me very curious. And when I go home, I try to, like a laboratory experiment, I try to put things and try to achieve the same texture and the food that I ate in a good cafe or a restaurant. So that is where it all comes, how can I make something which is as tasty as something which is not very healthy, right? There are no good or bad foods, but, I want to eat that same food almost every day. I want to eat delicious food, nutritious food every day. So I think that really makes me curious. And at home, I come up with all these recipes. Obviously, it has a way of how it's done. I figure out, okay, what are my daily dishes that I eat? What are the daily meals that I eat? And how can I make them tasty? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. What I really like to have every day and what can I include? So that's how I come up with different recipes. Like recently, I made churros waffle.
Oh.
It was made with oats.
Okay.
It was not fried. I made it thin so that it was crispy. I used a sweetener which was obviously not sugar and artificial sweetener, so it was pretty wholesome. Sometimes you can add protein powder to it. It's totally up to you. I made sugar-free ketchup or a ketchup with jaggery. So I can include these in my daily diet. So that is how I come up with these recipes.
So the flavor, the texture is all at the forefront for you, and then that's how you experiment. I must say, even creating recipes is an art by itself, and you are the master of this art.
At least I try to master it every day, get better and better. And I try to, if also it's more than just what I am having, since I create content and I have my clients and as well. So I see what do they want, because a lot of time when you're creating content, you usually think, oh, I want to post something which I like to make. But it's mostly when what people would want to have or what people are having and how can make it healthy.
You said your family was from the army. How has the army background impacted your lifestyle today?
First of all, made me very jugadu, whatever you have in front of you, make the best out of it. That is one thing that I really learned from army and people who are in the army. Second was, playing a lot of sports that really impacted the way I am, how I function my daily life. Being optimistic, like I'm a big time optimistic person. At the same time, very sports driven, very disciplined. But sometimes I just like to have fun, taking it easy, because I take one day at a time. So that's what I really learned from army. So yeah, these are few things. I mean, there are a lot of things that I can talk about what I learned from army, but these are few things that I really, really hold on to, like values, discipline, and just having fun.
I love it. Values, discipline, and having fun. The Digvijay we see even on social media is, of course, showing us nutrient-dense recipes and also having fun. You never shy away from saying that, hey, listen, I'm also partying, I'm also doing this. And I think that's what connects you to your audiences the most, right? That ki everyone else is seeing that, okay, Digvijay can lead that balanced life. What is that one advice you would give a young adult who's trying to be healthy-ish, right? Trying to navigate, but they've also realized and they've also found this newfound freedom of partying and yay, wo. So how can someone just balance it out?
I mean, when you're 18, you go out of your house, you have all the freedom, the newfound freedom, and maybe you get a little bit of pocket money. So it's very important to just maybe budget and see, okay, because when this is what I did, I kept some money for my food and nutrition since I was very focused when I was also during my graduation in college. I made sure some money is there for my protein powder or the eggs or broccoli and whatever I like to have regularly. But at the same time, I kept some money for partying as well. Maybe partying doesn't mean that late night parties and drinking, but can be going out to cafes, maybe going to a club to dance, XYZ. So I think that creating that balance is very important because it all starts early. Whatever the habits that you're building from childhood to your adulthood, the late teens, I would say, it stays. So whatever you do right now, it will impact your later life. So let's say it's just like mutual funds, right? You invest right now and you get the result later. It compounds later. So that is how I see, somebody who's getting into fitness or nutrition. Start early, take it easy. So that is what I would suggest.
Start early, take it easy.
Yeah.
I love it. And as a sports person and as a trainer, I can see that you value movement, physical activity a lot in your life. You tell your clients and your audiences as well the importance of it. What is the importance? A lot of times people are like, yeah, but my weight is okay, so I don't need to go to the gym or things. So why does one need to exercise?
I mean, like, we usually associate exercise to losing weight. So I think that notion is wrong. Losing weight is a byproduct. When your body is functioning well and you burn more calories than you are eating, that's when you lose weight, right? And I think people should focus more on losing that unnecessary fat that's in the body. That happens obviously over time because of these habits. When you're lean, you might still have diseases, right? To overcome that, you need to follow these lifestyle. So being overweight and having disease and being skinny and having disease are both very different, right? So you might be overweight, you might not be able to do sports or other kind of activities, but you might still be healthy, right? And if you are skinny, that doesn't mean you don't have any disease. So, and there are multiple factors. People usually think, oh, I'm physically able, I'm physically fit. That means, I might not have problems, but you might be stressed. You might have anxiety, right? You might feel dull. Your body is not performing the way it used to perform earlier, right? Your body is not efficient. So these are all things which affects you if you have a sedentary lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with movement, are you saying that it helps with boosting mood, helping with anxiety? We know for a fact that it helps with mental health. What are the other? It's like a machine, right? Or like if you rest, you rust, kind of a thing. If you don't use your muscles often, what is the importance of starting movement as a young adult?
There are a lot of things. Number one, you build discipline. Secondly, you build strength. Third is good bone density, so less fractures, less injuries, and your joints also stay pretty well oiled, right? So all these things are there. Now, when you're following a healthy lifestyle, you would also want to complement it with some maybe good sleep, right? So that you recover well. Then when you're doing two things, you're like, oh, let me also focus on my nutrition now. Because now that I'm expending so much energy, I need so much energy and nutrients to recover well and to perform well. So that's when you start also eating a healthy, eating healthy diet. And when you're doing all these things, you tend to avoid, which are maybe binge drinking, maybe doing other, maybe smoking and other things. You tend to avoid those things. So I think it's a combination of everything. So when you start early, you build better habits, and habits over time leads to a better and healthy body.
Lovely. And as we talk about, especially, you spoke about binge drinking, and we spoke about smoking and all these things. What I'm understanding also is that perhaps as we start exercising, we're also mentally feeling better. So we don't need to then lean on all these other stimulants then to make us feel better. Is that what it is?
That's kind of true. I mean, people usually think that just it's not just alcoholic drinks, also non-alcoholic drinks like coffee and all. If you're relying on these things to have fun, that means your body is not having enough energy to, really have fun. You're just relying on these things to stimulate the body and give you that little bit of burst of energy that will lead to having fun.
तो कॉफी फॉर ब्रेकफास्ट बहुत लोग ब्रेकफास्ट के लिए कॉफी लेते हैं and they're like, I'm done, I'll just have lunch straight. Can we do that?
So I'm not saying don't have coffee. You can have coffees in other ways as well. Overnight oats with some coffee, overnight chia pudding with a coffee, right? You can have coffee along with your breakfast. That's still great ways to add coffee to your diet. Then you can be as fancy as possible. You can add it to your recipes. You can add it dalia, whatever you want.
Protein
right?
shake.
Protein shakes, right? It's very interesting. You can make like a mocha protein shake. You can have it along with the breakfast. Some people put some ice, some protein powder, they put a spoon of coffee powder, and they simply blend it, and they have a great low calorie, high protein, a tasty mocha shake. So that's something that you can do regularly.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it has to be like a
breakfast buffet.
Yeah, it's you might see it as a breakfast buffet, but what I see is small portions of everything, right? A recipe is any meal or a recipe consists of different ingredients. So the breakfast that you're having, you put everything in a bowl, becomes like a smoothie bowl or a oat or a chia bowl, right? So these are all ingredients that I'm telling you that you can easily put in your breakfast bowl, and you can just maybe strive throughout the day.
Absolutely. And a lot of people even break their fast by having coffee or tea, or they will have coffee or tea until they eat something. What is your view on that?
I don't really recommend doing that because all these things are very acidic in nature, right? So first thing in the morning shouldn't be tea or shouldn't be coffee. So anyone who is drinking coffee and tea empty stomach, please stop. You can have it slightly later after having something like a fruit or maybe like a light breakfast. So that is what I would recommend.
Then they would have iced tea.
Yeah, again, iced tea. Depends what iced tea. If it's a sugary iced tea, a big no-no. If it's normal iced tea, it still has tea. So that would
iced coffee?
Again, iced coffee, iced tea, temperature is not the problem here. The problem is tea and coffee, empty stomach.
So is there any other way in which we can get our caffeine fix in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely. The matcha's girlie would absolutely agree with me that, having like a matcha in some oat milk or matcha in just water is a great way to have a caffeine beverage. Right? It has a balance of L-theanine, which gives you that focus and calmness, and a little bit of caffeine, which it has, which gives you that caffeine fix. So matcha is again great way of having a caffeinated beverage that you can have maybe after your breakfast or along with your breakfast.
Just having coffee on an empty stomach, we know for a fact that it affects the gut lining. It causes a lot of acidity. So by the time it's lunchtime and you've not eaten anything and you're only surviving on coffee, you're just feeling so uncomfortable by the end of it, which in turn will then affect your training.
100%. I mean, also disease usually come from repeating the unhealthy habits again and again. It doesn't happen at once. So it's not like if I've had coffee empty stomach today, it will really affect my health. But if I keep doing it again, that's when it really hampers your health. And rightly said, as coffee is acidic, if you have it empty stomach, it would lead to issues, a lot of issues like gut health issues. And your body is right now functioning well. That's great. When it stops functioning well is when you start having a lot of issues. And then your mental health, physical health, it all gets affected. So, it's better to avoid right now when you're healthy, to just have it empty stomach. Maybe have like something to eat first and then have coffee. There's nothing wrong with having coffee for breakfast, but not the first thing.
And not the only thing.
And not the only thing. And also, what happens is, let's say I have a cup of coffee, right? let's say you have a cup of coffee today, empty stomach. Now you need more caffeine because now you're getting used to that dose of caffeine. So you need to increase the amount of coffee that you're drinking every day. So when you keep it regulated, you're not overstimulated and you don't need too much coffee to survive or thrive throughout the day.
So a lot of the youth feel also that when they're getting into their fitness journey, they feel कि कम खाऊंगा, ज़्यादा workout करूंगा, I'll be amazing, and to the extent that sometimes they don't end up eating anything, right?
Yeah.
And then they're overexerting themselves. Can you highlight whether this is right or wrong?
You know what happens is people usually think कि I'm eating, let's say, 2,000 calories. I'll start eating 1,500. So I might lose weight. Which is true, you might, but you'll lose a lot of other things as well, right? You'll lose your appetite, your metabolism will go down, your deficiencies will go up, because now that you're cutting something, is obviously you're cutting, let's say, a certain nutrient from a diet, it is going to affect you in the longer run. And your body is like a well-oiled machine. When it's functioning well, it's functioning well. But if you just take one part out of it, which is the nutrient out of it, it might go haywire. So, you might think that, eating less will give you that quick dopamine when you see in the weighing scale that, I've dropped a kg, amazing. You might gain it back. Usually you think that, my weight has gone down. It can be water weight. It can be for a short while that you're losing weight, but eventually you will gain it back. When you are like, now I can't do this crash diet, can't do this low diet, low nutrient dense diet. Let's say you just have soups.
Oh, God.
Or just have raw salads. After a point of while, first of all, you'll go insane by eating all these things. Second thing, what will happen is your appetite, you'll start binging on junk food. It all happens. When there's no balance, there's no taste, there'll be a time when you'll break. And that's when you'll start binging on unhealthy food.
And it's a bit of a cycle, na? It's this binge restrict cycle that forms. Ki I'm restricting, nahi khana hai, bahut cheezein nahi khana hai, and then you're like, okay, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to go all out because I've deprived myself since so long. So this cycle then keeps continuing. Instead of that, what I'm hearing you say is that just be sensible and be normal and just fuel yourself, fuel your body for your workouts rather than starving yourself.
There's also a thing where you set unrealistic expectations, and like people have goals which are not right, I would say. You should have milestones, not goals. Like if my goal is just to lose 2 kgs and I lose 2 kgs, now what? During the process, I didn't build any habits. I did a crash diet. I lost 2 kgs. But there are no good habits that will help me make it sustainable. I can follow it for a longer time. Because people are saying, this month, next month, or the third month, I want to be healthy. But now what? What after 6 months? What after 1 year? So build habits right now, which will lead to a better, healthy body. And set milestones.
We can also have non-physical goals, right? We can have, my goal can be, I want to just get better sleep at night. That's why I want to work out. Another goal can be, I want to be able to do a push-up. What do you think about these, these functional goals? I want to be able to lift X kgs. I want to be able to do a pull-up. What do you think?
These are great goals. I mean, these are nice goals, actually, I would say. If you are, then enjoy the process. Let's say if you want to do one pull-up or one push-up, enjoy the process. You're like, no, you know what? Because to do all these things, you have to do certain drills. Right? To do a push-up, you learn how to hold your body weight. You build your core strength. You get a hang of it. Then you do a half push-up. You do a knee push-up. Elevated push-up. You keep going down. You go flat. So there are ways to do it, and every milestone that you achieve should be happy. It's an achievement in itself. That one push-up is not the achievement. The achievement is that you keep doing it till time you achieve it. So I think that's the right way to look at it. And great. Getting better sleep can be one good metric. Second is getting good recovery. Let's say you're sleeping well, but you're not recovered. Right? Now, how do you fix that? Maybe you're not eating well. Right? Maybe the room is not dark enough. You're not getting good sleep. Right? Third thing can be you're not well rested. Right? Good quality sleep is also very important. Are you having caffeine late in the evening? That is hampering your sleep, right? And at the same time, good temperature. These all things which will actually help you to get better sleep. Good room temperature, a decent, good mattress, dark room. And these are all things which really add up to all these things. So you start fixing these small things which will lead to a better sleep, a better healthy body.
I just hooked on to when you said that we need to enjoy the process because that is so important. Can we enjoy exercise?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to, not have to enjoy exercise, but find ways that will help you enjoy the process of exercising, right? I know people who go to Zumba. right? I know people who play pickleball, who play paddle, uh, who go for swimming. Somebody who just goes for walking. Somebody who's just climbing stairs. Somebody who's just doing weight training, strength training, animal flow. You name it, and people are doing it.
So is pickleball just a Delhi Bombay fad?
No, absolutely not. You won't believe places like Ahmedabad. I was there recently, and they have courts that function till 3 o'clock in the morning, and they have back-to-back courts. It's that popular, and it's actually not a fad. It's a great way to get that activity, but connect with the friends, connect with the family, and it's very inclusive. So I think it's a great thing that's trickling down to a lot of cities in India, especially. So yeah, pickleball, I love it. Absolutely. Cheers to pickleball.
Amazing. So it's getting that sense of community. It's
Yeah.
getting that play back into movement, which is something that we as human beings love.
Yeah, absolutely. People think sport is all about macho people, but these sports are bringing the essence of sportsmanship, bringing the essence of being active back to our daily lifestyle.
Lovely.
So you do what you enjoy because that is going to keep you sustainable, and you're going to look forward to it. Just imagine that you are looking forward to that 1 hour in the evening where you're just going like, oh my God, I'll meet my friends. I'll play this game. Like, I'm excited. I'm playing paddle today with my friends. I was in my hometown, and I was like, bro, when I come back, let's play paddle because I want to play paddle. So I'm looking forward to that activity. Although I go to the gym, but there's certain things I enjoy a lot, with my friends. So it's playing paddle or pickle.
I feel like what you said is so correct because when we were younger,
Yeah.
we used to have evening में playtime.
True.
No, हम नीचे जाते थे, society के लोग बच्चे से खेलते थे, and we used to have this like playtime, and we were so excited and looked forward to it. As we grew older, adulthood kind of kicked in. This playtime just went away, and if we start looking at movement, I don't like to call it exercise, but if we start looking at movement as playtime for adults,
Yeah.
how wouldn't that just change the entire perspective then?
It would. How I see it is, let's say if I ask you to just walk on treadmill every day, you might or might not enjoy it. Depends, totally up to you. But if I tell you, oh, you want to play, you play 1 hour of badminton or half an hour of badminton or 20 minutes of badminton with friends, you might enjoy it. And it might not even look like, you're with the friends, you're like, यार तेरे साथ bro मैं अगर आधा घंटा 2 घंटा spend करता हूँ वो भी कम लगता है मुझे. So that is what happens when you play a sport, when you go to the gym, when you do something along with your friends or with your family, you tend to enjoy it a lot. So you find ways to move and also enjoy the process. So find a sport, maybe go for a walk with a friend or a girlfriend or your wife or your parents, can be anyone, and figure out how you can stay active. There's a thing called NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is when you burn calories apart from your workout. Can be walking, can be taking a call in your office, climbing the stairs instead of elevator, taking, let's say, even 2 stories of stairs, still fine. I stay on the 28th floor, so it might not be practical every day to climb 28th floors, right? But I can do 5, I can do 10, I can do 15, I can do 18. That is how I stayed active during COVID. I found ways to stay active. I can't go to the gym that time.
So what I'm also hearing is you're saying that there is, of course, we have our movement, we have our playtime. Chalo 9 to 5. Chalo 9 to 10 o'clock. We're going for our paddle class. But we also have this other non-structured movement that we need to also increase in our life.
Yeah.
It's not enough that we are only sitting, in our desk job the entire day and then going for our exercise. We also want to improve our movement in our daily life and living. How does that help health?
If you're working out, let's say 1 hour a day, it's just maybe 4 to 5% of you being active throughout the day, if you're just seeing, right? So the other part that you're doing will help you burn a lot more calories than you might burn in your workout. So you think of your workout to be a chunk of your daily calorie expenditure, but it's actually a small part. It might have other benefits, absolutely, right? But what I'm saying is, if you're doing something which doesn't involve any kind of gymming or working out, but still if you're just walking, you might end up burning a lot of calories, which overall would lead to a healthier body.
And also a sedentary lifestyle, right? We have so many studies that are showing that having or sitting at a stretch of more than 1 hour, 2 hours, what that's leading to is a lot of cardiovascular diseases. It's leading to a lot of blood pressure and blood sugar issues. So even getting in a little bit of movement, aside from say our gym hour or anything else, that's going to actually help in all of these other diseases as well in the long term.
True. So since you're talking about sitting on the desk, right? A lot of people are working 9 to 5. A lot of people are also working from home, but they're sitting on the desk. So just imagine if you are sitting straight, right? Everything is well. You are breathing well. You're good posture. Nothing is aching. Your spine is straight. But the moment you start slouching is also when you start breathing shallow. When you start breathing shallow, yeah, there are multiple. You're not getting oxygenated properly, right? There's short breaths. Short breaths is similar to stress, right? When you're stressed, you have short breaths. So there are a lot of other things which happens if your posture is not right. Now, to fix your posture, you'll have to do multiple things, right? So it's better to have a good posture when you are sitting. Take small breaks, stand up. That'll also keep you consciously focused on the posture you're having throughout the day.
So as we start looking at movement in the form of playtime as well, are there any other benefits to it?
There are, apart from burning calories or getting fit, there are other benefits, right? There's a sense of community. You have people who can look after you, or people who can look up to you. You are surrounded with people who really love you. So it's atmosphere of inclusivity, atmosphere of positiveness, right? There's very interesting study which was done in blue zones. So blue zones are the areas where a lot of people are in high concentration who live above 100 years, right? Now when the research was done, there are few factors. Diet was one factor, movement was one factor, but there was a one big factor which was community. So when you're surrounded by your friends, your family, you really look up to living every day. You really enjoy the whole process. And you say that you're the sum of 5 friends you have. So when, let's say, your 5 friends are very active, very positive, you really enjoy it. So you also become like them. So I think those are some other benefits of playing a sport with a friend or doing an activity.
Bringing in that sense of community.
Absolutely.
And that also adds a different aspect to your life, right? It's not just work, sleep, repeat. It's also like, oh, I have this fun thing to go to now, and I have to meet my gym friends or my paddle friends. That's what paddle and pickleball is actually doing. It
Absolutely.
is bringing that sense of community. It is bringing that sense of play when it's coming to movement.
That's very interesting that you're talking about, how it is being more inclusive. So when you talk about so when you talk about pickleball, it's for all age groups. It's for people who have never even worked out in their life. They can finally pick up something, they can start slow, and it's very easy to learn. So I think that pickleball phenomena has taken over the world, and for the right reasons. So I would say it's great. I met few folks day for yesterday, and I just told them, I play pickleball and paddle regularly. They said, oh, I also want to learn. I told them, you can learn in one day. They're like, oh, let's make a plan. And this weekend I'm meeting them.
Wow.
Right? So that's so interesting that people now, they're looking forward to it. It's not something that's scaring people. Oh, it's not something that they're scared of. I won't be able to learn. I'm not that active. So
But this is a beautiful conversation we're changing around movement, right?
Yeah.
We're making movement more accessible to so many different age groups as well. Millennials have picked up so many different sports, and now looking at even Gen Zs. Looking at Gen Zs, right?
Yeah.
Someone who wants to start off their fitness journey, right? They want to start moving, working out. What advice would you give them?
I would suggest them to pick whatever their friends are doing, right? If they're playing a sport, start doing that. That will get you introduced to a certain sport. You'll get active. Then you can maybe play a sport that you really enjoy. Now that you have got into the whole, active zone, now you pick a sport that you really enjoy. Then you start building over it. Maybe, so let's say my dad was in the army. I had a lot of courts. There was basketball court, there was football ground, there was badminton court. So I started playing everything. Then I picked something that I really enjoyed, which is basketball. Now I don't have a basketball court close to my house. I have pickleball and paddle. So now that I want to get active, I'm still trying to learn pickleball and paddle, which keeps my brain young as well. When you pick something new, when you learn something new, it keeps your brain active. At the same time, now I can burn calories and at the same time enjoy with whatever I have around my house. So I would suggest play a sport which your friends play, or play a sport that you really enjoy, which is around your house, so that it's very sustainable. You can go there every day. You're not wasting time while traveling. Secondly, which is help you to build strength, endurance, I would say pair it up with some kind of strength training or body weight training, which will keep your bones and your muscles very fit. Your bones strong. It'll help build good muscles. So that is what I would suggest.
But very often, people, especially who live in larger bodies, a lot of studies have shown because of weight stigma, they are a little apprehensive to start off with the gym. What advice would you give them?
It can be difficult, when you're slightly overweight. It can be difficult for you to get that motivation. It can be difficult for you to move, right? Everything might seem daunting. So I would suggest to maybe hire a trainer or go with a friend who knows about working out or who is in the same journey, right? That will keep you accountable. You can keep each other accountable. Maybe you can go to a gym and you can find people who can guide you in the gym as well. They're very good people in the gym as well who will tell you how to work out, who will guide you in the process. Then start eating well, which will give you good benefits. Sometimes apart from hormones, some people, they have hormonal problems. Apart from that, there are a lot of lifestyle problems. So maybe try to fix that as well. Once you have got into it, maybe if you have a sedentary lifestyle, again, walk. Right, walking is one of the most underrated form of exercise. Which is low intensity exercise. You might work out a lot, you might get tired, and you'll not work out the next day. But you keep walking, you'll not get that tired. So walking is a great tool for people who are overweight. Start small, 3,000 steps, 5,000 steps, 7,000 steps, 10,000 steps, then go more and more. Totally, whatever you can do to recover as well.
Say a young professional, right, who is living by themselves. They have to work, they have to hustle, they have to eat well, they have to exercise. How can one do it all?
I know it can be very daunting. It's also very challenging because 24 hours हैं, करना बहुत कुछ है. And emails का stress, WhatsApp, unanswered WhatsApp messages, plus the whole process of cooking food is again challenging for a lot of folks. So I would recommend don't make your life too complicated when you're talking about diet. Meal prep is a great tool. Make breakfast and eat the same food for lunch and dinner. Right now it would be easier for you to maybe eat the same meal twice. You can change the flavor, you can change the dressing. So how I do it or how I recommend people can do it is maybe some overnight oats, some dalia that they can have. They can top it with some dry fruits or some kind of fresh fruits as well. Then along with that, for lunch, they can pick a base of carbs. Can be a roti, can be dosa, idli, or rice, whatever you want to have for lunch. That should be a small portion, right? Then have a big portion of fiber, which can be your vegetables, a mix of raw and fresh vegetables. Apart from that, protein is very important. A lot of people think dal is a very rich source of protein. I say it is a decent source of protein. It's not a rich source of protein. You can keep it in your meals to keep you full because it has a good amount of water in it. It has some dal which has fiber. It'll keep you full. So you'll not overeat. But it's not a very rich source of protein.
And very often people think ki one bowl of dal and then they're done for the day. Their protein intake is done for the day. Is that true?
That's not true at all. One bowl of dal would hardly have 4 or 5 grams of protein. Max, right? When you don't make it pani wali dal, then it's 7. But usually people add a lot of water to it. It's not very thick, right? So it keeps the protein keeps diluting. So I would recommend have it as a portion if you really enjoy some tadka dal or normal dal. But have some protein-rich foods. Like if you're a vegetarian, you can have tofu, tempeh, paneer. You can also have beans and chickpeas, which are decent as well. But if you're a non-vegetarian, you can have fish, chicken. These are some good sources that you can have every day. Something very easy is eggs. In case you eat eggs, it's a good balance of good fats, good cholesterol, which also improves your good cholesterol in the body. It has B12. Right. Apart from that, it has the egg whites are great source of lean protein. So if you think I don't have much time, boiled eggs. You have slightly more time, boiled eggs with some healthy curry. Right. If you have more time, some fancy omelette, and you can stuff it with some vegetables. So you can make it as fancy as possible, but depends what your how much time do you have.
And so a lot of kids these days, they're moving out of their parents' houses and they don't know much about cookware. So they're taking mummy ka cookware, old utensils and things like that. What do you think about it?
It's good for nostalgia. You can take it. It might remind you of your home, but usually whatever you're taking might be worn out. So now that's not the best thing to use, because lot of times there is the coating of those pans are chipping off. They might get into your food, which is not great for your health. It can be toxic, or at least not good for your health. So I would recommend, get good quality pans, get good quality utensils, which are slightly new, and keep replacing them once they're worn out. Right. Also have some good habits of cleaning them properly. A lot of people use steel wool for Teflon. That's wrong. A sponge is good way to clean the Teflon coating.
Right.
Secondly, use a wooden spatula, silicon spatula instead of a steel spatula. So that won't scratch the surfaces. Then, like a tri-ply pan is great. It's easy to use. It's the conductivity of heat is great. So these are some good ways to use these pans for regular use. And when you get it for yourself, get one for your mom or dad as well.
Wait, so are you telling me that they have to buy all these different types of cookwares?
No, you don't have to buy all different kind of cookware available in the market. And I might actually, because I really enjoy getting new equipments and utensils. But to be practical, you just need few things, right? Let's say I eat dosas regularly. I might get a maybe non-stick tawa or a cast iron tawa if I want to keep it very authentic. I really enjoy cooking a dosa on a non-stick tawa or a cast iron tawa. It keeps it very authentic. The taste is nice. But it totally depends. If I want to do normal soups, I would do curries. I would get a maybe tri-ply pan. That would be much more practical for me. If I cook pancakes and all, I might get a non-stick tawa. That will be very easy to cook food every day. So see what is your use and accordingly get the utensils. All the utensils might not be of your purpose.
Okay, so for a bachelor living alone,
Yeah.
an easy one pot recipe.
Easy one pot recipe. Now it depends what kind of recipes you want, right? If it is a Buddha bowl, then you can add a lot of things like a sweet potato, some cauliflower, some veggies, some sauerkraut, or maybe some pickled vegetable. Can be something that you really enjoy, like a one pot. But if you want something which is desi, right, which is has an Indian touch, so can be a good khichdi, right, with some source of protein, tofu, can be chicken, can be eggs, or certain things, right? Soy chunks is again great. So that is what you can make in one pot. Then apart from that, you can be creative. Do whatever you want in one pot recipes, because the thing is that it doesn't have to be complicated. You keep adding ingredients in one pot and see whatever you like. So it's the most easiest thing that you can make.
Okay, a one pan recipe.
One pan recipe, or you can make pancakes, you can make dosas, you can make chilas, you can make scrambled eggs, you can make fancy different kinds of eggs on a pan, right? I can go on and on. You can also do, you can make one pot recipe in a pan as well, right? Just because wo itna sa hai pan doesn't mean it can't cook things in it, right? You cook curries. So you can do whatever you want in those pans.
When you spoke about eggs, one of the biggest issues with an iron pan and cracking an egg in it is that it always sticks. Any ways to make the egg not stick?
So if you're not using a non-stick pan, it needs to be seasoned well. So a lot of people use some kind of oil with some onion, right? They heat the pan, they add some oil, then they rub the onion. That creates a non-stick coating on it. So that's a good way to making a cast iron non-stick. Or you can do it on a stainless steel. A lot of people and a lot of restaurants, what they do, they heat it to a high temperature, the stainless steel pans, the tri-ply stainless steel pans, and then they add something to it. So that increases the non-stick properties of it.
As a new cook, using non-stick is super easy, but there's a lot of noise around non-stick. What are your views on them?
So there are 3-4 things while using a non-stick, right? First of all, it has to be a new pan. If you're using old, worn-out pan, which the coating is not there anymore, and that is bad, right? Then the coating, the aluminium which is down there, it starts leaching in your food. So that's number one. Second is, when you're using the right kind of equipments, when tools, it will stay fine. So make sure that you're using a wooden spatula, a silicon spatula. And the noise is basic about, it being toxic, it being bad. But the main noise was about using PFOAs in the coating, right? In making Teflon, which was bad. Now they don't use it anymore. So if you're cooking food in a non-stick pan, it is absolutely fine, right? Make sure you're not overheating it.
Okay.
You're cook at normal temperatures, like a scrambled egg, pancakes, parathas, whatever you want, you can make in it. So it's not bad. And if you want to use something else, you can use a tri-ply stainless steel pan or a cast iron tawa.
So a lot of these fun foods have a particular flavor and texture to it. What more different kinds of foods can we add that have a similar flavor and texture to it?
So, okay, there's a triangle in fast food, right? That all the companies are following. When you just turn the label and you see, oh, it has sugar, but it's a spicy food. Why do they have it? So it's a triangle of fats, sugar, and salt. So this combination, makes it very palatable. So how can you introduce that in your own home food, right? Like a lot of Gujarati people, they put some jaggery in their food. You must have seen a lot of people put slightly salt in their sweet dishes as well, right? That is how it makes it very palatable. So there's very interesting thing is how you add textures to your food apart from the flavors. Just imagine that you're eating khichdi and you put some papad on top. So that gives you the mushy and the crunchy texture. So that is how you make your food very interesting. You add some salted and some crunchy peanuts on top of your khichdi or your food. It makes it very interesting. So you see that it's all about flavors, the combination of fats, salt, and sugar. Right? Sugar can be anything: date sugar, jaggery, your normal sugar, whatever you like to have, right? In moderation. And along with textures. So that is how you can make your food very interesting and as tasty as any other fast food.
So that's amazing because what we're saying is that we want to honor our taste buds and at the same time not deprive ourselves of these textures and flavors, which we can bring out in nutrient dense foods as well.
100%, and since we are talking about these snacks, what usually happens when you go out, we eat a lot of salty food, right? And that makes us drink a lot, maybe aerated beverages, maybe alcohol. Usually, restaurants and cafes, they add some bar snacks or some salty snacks when they are giving you food, and that makes you more thirsty. So you end up drinking a lot, maybe aerated beverages or alcohol, and that ends up increasing the overall calorie that you're intaking. Just make sure, just be conscious. There's nothing wrong in having those salted peanuts or whatever soya katoris or whatever you're getting. Just make sure they're limited because the more you have it, the more you'll start drinking and you'll start binging on these foods.
Okay,
Right?
very interesting. Thank you for that. Wow, that's such a lovely chat. Is there anything you would like to tell our BergCast listeners?
Yeah, I would say listen to more of BergCast podcast. Not much, I would say listen to the other podcasts by BergCast. They're pretty interesting. But just to sum it up, I would recommend to follow something which is sustainable, which you really enjoy, and don't see as activity, food, and all these as something like a task or a punishment. Just take it easy, live your life, and keep enjoying everything, and make it a part of your lifestyle. Don't make it your entire personality. Make it a part of your lifestyle and enjoy it.
Such cool parting words, right? That this is just a small part of our life. It's not our entire life. It's an important part of our life, but just treating it like that. In addition to that, we spoke about so many things today. We spoke about how starting from how you've gotten into fitness, your army background, the impact that it has made on your entire life. We spoke so much about movement and fitness. A topic that is so close to my heart and your heart. How it is so important for us to keep moving, not just at the gym or in the paddle courts, but also in our daily life, reducing all of that sedentary lifestyle as well. We also spoke about how we can start off with the entire fitness journey. Someone who is just navigating through life, maybe in their early 20s, late 20s, how can they start with cooking and managing everything, right? Nutrient dense food, their movement, work, how do we manage everything? And you said that we do not need so many cookwares involved or so many utensils involved. Just a few things here and there and we'll be good to go. We also touched upon various aspects when it came to busting myths about non-stick and stainless steel utensils. This was so enriching. Thank you so much, Digvijay, for being a part of this podcast.
My pleasure. And I would say, if you keep eating well, if you keep working out well, you can have the memory of Ishita. She remembers almost everything in one flow. It's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was such a pleasure. Cheers.